This video is about the 4 types of attachment style. So what I want to do today is to discuss the 4 types of attachment style and to let you see how it affects relationships, how it can determine whether a relationship will survive or not, and if a marriage is on the rock, how you can heal your attachment style, heal your patterns so that it can fix the marriage. So basically, we have 4 different types of attachment style. We have the secure attachment style and 3 other insecure attachment style. So today I'm going to start by talking about the anxious attachment style. So the anxious attachment style, before I go into the anxious attachment style, I also want to mention that while discussing this attachment style, I'll be doing two things. I'll be talking about how it started, what caused it, how it's brought about, and how it is affecting the individual that has that attachment style in their marriage, in their relationship with other people. So now let's go back to the anxious attachment style. So people with the anxious attachment style, while growing up, have inconsistencies in how love is shown to them. So maybe they grew up in a place where, in an environment where love and attention is not enough. It's not enough for them to feel secure. So maybe their parents are working too hard, are too busy, or they lost a parent and then the parents become unavailable to them. So there's this dynamic where there is love, but it's not just there. It's not just there all the time when I need it. I can always rely that it's always going to be there. So you can think of a child who had to go and live with a grandparent, or who was left at the daycare for so long. But when the mother is back, everything is fine. The mother is going to come with a lot of love, but then she'll be unavailable again. So there's this like not enoughness when it comes to the love that they are receiving. So at that early age, the child learns to start fearing abandonment, start fearing whenever they find the love is available, they try to cling to it because it's gonna be gone, and they don't like it when it's gone. So they start, really being afraid of losing love. So as an adult, you find this person being very afraid of abandonment, being alone, being disconnected, and they can do anything to make sure that that doesn't happen, to make sure that the people that they love will not leave them. They are constantly afraid that the people that they love will leave them even when they don't have reasons to, and then they start doing things like policing their loved ones, checking phones, showing up unannounced, just to control things and to make sure that the man they love never leaves, or the person they love never leaves. And that in itself, the extreme policing, the extreme expression of love, long text message, long phone calls, can inadvertently be the thing that will create that will push the person, the love interest, away, because then it becomes too much and too overbearing. So now let's talk about the dismissive avoidance attachment style. So the dismissive avoidance attachment style is like the complete opposite of the anxious attachment style. Let's start from how it starts. Okay, so when a child who eventually end up with a dismissive avoidance attachment style is growing up, love, emotional regulation and emotional regulation wasn't there. There may be love, they may have a mother or a father that loves them and buys them things, pay their school fees, do all those things that are loving, but their needs and their feelings were not being validated or giving positive reinforcement. So they grew up with parents who dismissed their feelings. So it wasn't okay for them to express their feelings. Some of them even grew up with parents who shame their feelings, who tell them, stop crying, you shouldn't be crying, you're a man, men don't cry. That is why you will find that a lot of a big statistic of dismissive, avoidant people are men, because they get shamed for their emotions, especially if they have a father that just wants to toughen them up or things like that, and they were just made to feel like it's not okay to express those emotions. And then they also have their needs not being met as a child. So as a child, they come to the conclusion of emotions, feelings are not safe. It gets me into trouble. And so they decided to avoid it, avoid anything that requires them to be vulnerable or to rely on people for their needs to be met, for their emotions to be met. They will avoid it. And another conclusion they made as a child is that there must be something wrong with me. That is why my parents are not being there for me, are not helping me to regulate my emotion, are not accepting me to express my emotion, because my emotions are bad. There must be something defective or wrong about me. So those are the kind of conclusions they made. And imagine they've made that decision at a very young age, just maybe at around 3, 4, 5 years old. They've already concluded on that. And so they've already, see themselves as, I have to do everything by myself. And then they grow up with this sense of autonomy, like I am on my own. So when they get into a relationship as an adult, it's beautiful and fine in the beginning, but as the relationship progresses, when you are in a marriage and it's progressing, things can get a little bit intense. A lot of things comes online. There has to be a lot of vulnerability, communication. That is where the problem starts. This problem starts because these people weren't modeled, don't have that model to them. They don't have their emotions. They don't have it modeled to them for their emotions to be communicated and expressed and for their needs to be met by other people. And so they tend to keep people at arm's length. And because of this feeling of shame and I am defective, then they even tend to keep people more at arm's length, because they don't want you to see it. They fear, if I'm too close to you, if I'm too connected to you, then my secret will be exposed. Then you will see that I am a defective person, and then you won't love or respect me again. So they keep their card very close to their chest. You won't see anything on their text message. They delete things. They have strong password. They hide things because it's a coping mechanism. It's a way of keeping themselves safe and trying to not let other people see their defectiveness and also shame them. So that's the dismissive avoidant attachment style. So now let's move to the fearful avoidant attachment style. So the fearful avoidant attachment style is in between that spectrum of extreme what's the first one again? Extreme anxiousness and dismissiveness. So they are in between. So fearful avoidant typically have the patterns of both the anxious person and the dismissive person, because what happened in their own childhood is, apart from growing up in an household where love is inconsistent and flaky, today there's love, tomorrow there's no love, today there's attention, tomorrow there's no attention. They also grew up in an environment where there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of abuse, insulting, people being at each other's throats, Nothing is predictable. Anything can go wrong at any time. So the unpredictability of their situation kind of make them to be like on their edge and hyper vigilant. So before they talk or do things, they try to scan the environment and see what's going on. Is mom in good mood today? If I say this, will it be okay? If I say that, will it be okay? Especially when you have parents who are volatile, who can be angry at any time, and you can't even predict when what you will say that'll make them happy, or what you will say that'll make them angry. So because of living in this state of not knowing what to express, they become really hypervigilant and really try to be in control of things, so that they can survive and cope and not get into trouble as much as possible. So as an adult, they can become very perceptive. They really understand what is going on with people. They can tell. They are the people that can tell. They take a look at you and they just know. They can just tell, because from early age, they've learned to study tone of voice, movement, emotions, feelings, and to know if I should people please, or if I should keep quiet, or if I should say what I want to say. So people like that also struggle with decision making. You see, they can be very indecisive. And then another name for fearful avoidance attachment style is disorganized attachment style. So because of instability and the chaos, they can be very disorganized, both in their thoughts and even in their physical space. So when you meet a fearful avoidant person, you see a lot of disorganization. They are the type that will be doing one thing, leave it half done, jump to the next thing, leave it half done. Even project, they'll have like tons of uncompleted projects because of the emotional patterns, the traumatic patterns they pick up in childhood. Also, they struggle with trust, being able to trust people, because when you don't know what to expect, you kind of find it hard to trust people. They're afraid of betrayal. They're afraid of everything the avoidant person is afraid of, and everything the anxious person is afraid of. So it's really a very challenging attachment style to have. And I want to say it here that attachment style is not kind of like a disorder or a label. Like this is not like this is who you are for life. It's just that it is attachment in itself. Attachment style in itself, by definition, is just how we attach to other people, how we learn to love or receive love from other people. So, and it's based on the patterns that we have, that we learn from childhood. So attachment style is just a bunch of patterns that can be rewired and can be changed. So anybody with any insecure attachment style can become secure, can heal those patterns, change those patterns, and start showing up as a secure person. So which brings me to the fourth attachment style, which is the secure attachment style. And people with secure attachment style usually grew up with parents who validated their emotions when they were young, who was there for them. They were given enough attention. Their needs were met. Apart from their needs being met, they learn at a young age that it is okay for them to have needs. They were not shamed for having needs. They were not made to feel guilty for having needs. Even if their parents were unable to meet their needs, they were told something like, oh, you really want this, don't worry, when we have money we'll buy it. No, not like, that's your needs being acknowledged and being made, it's okay. It's different from, why would you ask that? Why would you ask that you want that when you know that we can't afford it? That's you being made to know that your need is wrong and you shouldn't have them. And those are the kind of things that leads to the patterns that leads to insecure attachment styles. So a secure person learns healthy communication from young. They learn that their boundaries is okay. When they have boundaries, like, I don't want this, I want this, or or whatever ways they've expressed their boundary, they were not shamed for it, and they were not made to feel like it's wrong for them to have boundaries. Also, their emotions, they were allowed to cry if they need to cry. Their emotions were not shamed. So they grew up feeling worthy as a person, to have needs, to have boundaries, to have emotions, and to know how to communicate. So mostly when you have a marriage that have two people who are secure, the marriage has a higher chance of surviving and thrive in most cases. Even if you have one person that is secure, one person in a secure marriage can help to create a healthy marriage, can help the other person to learn secure patterns. So if you have one healthy person, one secure person in a marriage, the person can influence the other person. And if the secure person sees that the other person is not willing to change, is not willing to learn, they know how to leave, that it's time for them to when it's time for them to exit the relationship. So that's secure behavior. They won't stay there and be crying every day and be chasing him, policing him, or doing hot and cold. So when it comes to having a thriving marriage, the way you really want to go is to heal your attachment patterns. From what I've said so far, you'll be able to identify some of your own patterns and some of your husband's patterns. So the benefits of knowing attachment style is that it helps you to know how to relate to the other person. So in my community, what I've found to be most common is that the men are dismissive, have dismissive, avoidant attachment style, where they are always shutting down, pulling back, and not being emotionally unavailable. And the woman is either an anxiously attached person or a fearfully attached person. So if the woman is an anxiously attached person, then she will be doing a lot of chasing, a lot of policing, a lot of begging, just doing a lot of tactics to just make sure it doesn't leave. And if the woman is a fearfully avoidant person, you'll find out she'll be doing a lot of back and forth, hot and cold. Today she'll be like, I'm done with this marriage, I can't do this again. In the next 1 week, she'll be like, what can we do? How can we make it work? And it can become so frustrating, and there will be unhealthy communication and lack of trust. So by the time you start to heal your attachment style and start to show in a way that is secure, then you can begin to start transforming your marriage. So in case you're curious on how to heal, on what your attachment style is and how to heal it, and you need my help in figuring it out, then you can book a 45-minute discovery call, and then we are going to get into it, and I will ask you a bunch of questions to determine your attachment style and what you need to start doing to heal moving forward, so that you can heal your marriage. See you next time.